Let's toss it, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just a moment, please. Excuse me.
On her way back from school, sir.
Look, she still had her satchel.
I don't think I've had the pleasure, ladies.
We found the poor mite.
Sergeant, has she been, you know? Has she then, Sergeant?
I'm not a doctor, madam, only a policeman.
Poor wee thing.
An inspector.
Oh.
Whoever's going to tell Rennie Bates?
You know the child?
Yes, it's Doreen Bates.
Thank you.
Poor man.
How do you feel now, Sergeant? Recovered?
Numb, sir.
Numb enough to take over for an hour?
Yes, sir.
Then I'll leave you in the capable hands of my sergeant. He'd be very grateful for any information that you can give him. So, ladies, excuse me, please. Thank you.
Don't he talk nice?
Not like most coppers.
Oh, you're lucky working for a gentleman like him.
You look sort of green, doesn't he, Doris?
Yeah, he's a street-like.
Poor thing. Only 9.
Been upsetting a case like this, Sergeant.
It's a scene.
A gilded cage, a beautiful sight to see. Although she seems happy and free from care, it's not what it seems to be. It's sad when you think of a wasted life, for youth cannot mate with age. Her beauty was sold for an old man's gold. She's a bird in a gilded cage. What are you laughing at? That's a very sad song.
I always laugh when I'm sad.
You always laugh when you're sad?
Any fool can laugh when he's happy. My husband fell down the stairs last night.
Your husband fell down the stairs last night?
That's right.
Did he hurt himself?
Not to be, thank heavens. He was killed instantly. Oh, we haven't loved so much since Mother died.
Oh, we ought to go back on the halls, Arthur. We ought, you know. By popular demand.
Why not, Arthur? Come on, Arthur. Why not?
Nowadays, there's no demand.
Yes, there is. I mean, that was our trouble. Our kind of humor. It's all the rage now.
What kind of humor?
You know, jokes about dead bodies. You know, sick, they call it. I mean, it isn't true that we weren't popular. Do you remember Shanklin Pier?
What about it?
On the Isle of Wight.
Yeah, Shanklin on the Isle of Wight, I remember. What about it?
I didn't mean that. I meant we were very popular in Shanklin. Standing room only, night after night.
It was a wet summer. Raining. Night after night. Poor baskets didn't have anywhere else to go except come and see us.
We could work up a new routine, new jokes. I've even thought of a new name for the act, too, Arthur.
Yeah?
The Grim World of the Brothers Tulk.
It's grim, all right. It's no go, Harry, it's no go. We've had it. Shanklin Pier and all. Hello, Joan.
What you doing? What you doing in that get-up?
We were just trying out the old act, Joan.
Get those things off. It's disgusting. Get them off.
Leave him alone, can't you?
Don't encourage him. Bad enough having him live with us without you leading him on.
I wasn't leading him on to nothing. We were just trying out the old act.
You're jealous! That's what you are.
Jealous? What of?
Look in the mirror, dear.
Get out of those clothes. Take them off. And get out of here. Go on, get out.
Harry.
Get...
Ugly old bitch.
Go on. Go on.
He's got to get out. He's got to go, do you hear me?
No, he can't. Where can he go?
There's homes for people like him.
Lock him up! That's what you mean, isn't it?
I won't let you.
He couldn't stand it. He'd go out of his head.
He's out of his head now. Has been all his life. Should have been put away years ago. I'm sick of the neighbours talking about him, calling their kids into the house when he walks down the street. I'm sick of that loony cribbing about the place. Sick of it! Sick, sick, sick!
Next week? Meet you. Brilliant. Right. Yes. I'm sorry. Charles, I'm even more sorry.
Anthony, how clever of you to recognize me with that wig on.
You stole that line from Oscar Wilde.
Max Beerbohm.
Our arrangements for tonight still stand?
An abridged version of them, if you don't mind. It's been one of those days.
Well, shall I pick you up at the office? It's on the way to the club.
Excellent, if you're not ashamed to be seen entering a police station.
Can I park outside without being arrested?
Not unless you've got a much smaller car than you used to have.
Much bigger.
Conspicuous consumption. It was always one of your vices, Anthony.
A necessary vice, I'm afraid. Barristers have to keep reminding the public how successful they are. No one wants to engage the kind of barrister he thinks he can afford.
What a complicated life you lead. I wouldn't bother with you at all if it weren't for your nice wife.
Never tell a girl she's nice. It's the kiss of death to her popularity.
You saw her coming.
Hello, darling.
If you must make love to me in public, let me get this disguise off first. People might mistake me for your husband.
What section of the establishment have you been exposing since I last saw you?
I'm writing a sensational, flashing article for a woman's magazine. The truth about powder.
Face or gun?
Baby powder.
You know, I lie awake at night worrying about your expose on the police force.
I haven't done an expose on the police force.
That's why I lie awake. One of these days you're going to cause me no end of trouble. Even more trouble than your husband.
Oh, where's that?
The police force is a compact body of men, because anywhere, and we bleed.
You must admit there have been some guilty policemen, isn't there?
Well, in present company, I shall admit nothing of the sort.
Exactly. That's why the Human Rights Organization is demanding impartial investigation into all complaints. And what's more, Charles?
Your husband's going to make a speech and I haven't time to listen. 8 o'clock, Anthony.
8 o'clock.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, Charles.
Name?
Harold John Tulk.
Profession?
I've told you already.
Tell me again. Profession?
Actor.
Resting?
Retired.
Married? Where'd you live?
With my brother. Why are you questioning me? What have I done wrong?
You tell me, Tulk. The constable said you were behaving in a very suspicious manner.
Well, so was he, you know. He hit me. Do you know that? He tore my shirt.
Yeah, well, you shouldn't have run away, should you? Resisting arrest, that's called. Where did you get this? Doreen Bates.
I found it.
The pretty little girl called Doreen Bates got herself killed yesterday afternoon in Castle Street. Did you hear what I said, Tulk?
Yes. I'm sorry.
Sorry you did it.
I'm sorry about that poor little girl.
Turn your pockets out.
Well, what for? You've got no right. I haven't done
Turn
anything.
your pockets out. And the inside one.
There's nothing in it. Anyone can buy them. There's nothing wrong with it.
You wear perversion like an overcoat, Tulk. It's stinking and dirty, and it fits you down to the ground, doesn't it?
Lots of people have those. Lots of people.
You did it, didn't you? You killed that child.
I want to see my brother.
Your brother's been told you're here.
I want to see him. You've no right to stop me.
You stamped out 9 years of life.
I want to see my brother.
I know you, Tulk. I know your sort.
I know your sort, too.
And what do you mean by that?
You tough man. I played lots of camps during the war, I did. Oh, you wouldn't want nothing to do with my type, oh no. We had a name for your type, too. Rough trade. Swift.
Won't you introduce us, Sergeant?
The charge sheet's on your desk, sir.
I know you won't mind while I glance at this. Harold John Tulk. Suspicious loitering, resisting an officer in the execution of his duty. You shouldn't have done that.
Well, that policeman hit me, you know that? He tore my shirt.
The magistrate will listen very sympathetically to any complaint that you may have to make, and I know that you won't mind waiting elsewhere while I talk to my sergeant, will you? Constable, take this gentleman away with you.
Yes, sir.
Where?
Where are you taking
We're
me
going
to?
to give you a bed downstairs for the night. It's quite comfortable, not luxurious, but clean and quiet.
You're going to lock me up.
It's customary until the morning.
Oh, no, please. Please, don't lock me up. Don't lock me up. Please, I can't bear. I can't bear being locked up. Oh, please. Please don't lock me up. Oh, no.
You would have hit him if I hadn't come in then. A very stupid thing to do. Never involve yourself, Sergeant.
I'm sorry, sir.
Now, about our friend Harold Tulk.
We've reason to believe he can assist our inquiries into the murder of Doreen Bates, age 9.
Well, that's no reason to assault the man.
I said I was sorry.
So you did.
He did it. He's guilty.
Proof, Sergeant, proof.
He's got a record. I know types like that. I've seen them before.
You can't convict a man because you don't like his type, Sergeant.
He enjoyed killing that kid.
I doubt it. I doubt it very much. The English almost always take their pleasures sadly.
I told you, didn't I? How many times did I tell you?
I lock him up. I lock him up.
About time. I always knew he'd do something like this.
How do you know what he did?
Police know, don't they? He killed that girl.
He never, not Harry. He wouldn't hurt anyone. Like a child, that's all he is.
He never that time in Shanklin either, I suppose. Shanklin, Isle of Wight.
They never knew who did that.
We knew. You and me knew, Arthur. No matter how much we tried to pretend, we always knew. And now he's done it again.
Where are you going?
Out. To show the people round here I'm not on his side. I'm not sticking up for a loony murderer, whoever he is.
That's all you care what people say. What about Harry? He'd go off his head if they put him in a cell.
Oh, you can't do anything about that now, can you? It's too late. They've got him and they're going to put him away. And there's nothing you can do about it.
Arresting. Chacun a son goût. You know what that means, Sergeant?
Everybody gets his kicks in his own way.
What is the matter with you, Sergeant?
I'm sorry, sir.
There are scores of men like Tulk walking the streets. You've met them before.
Some villain goes out and robs a jeweler's. It's our job to find out who did it and get him sent down for it. It's his job to see that we don't. That's fair enough. You know where you are with a bloke like that. But with a thing like Tulk, I keep thinking of that kid.
A terse analysis of our profession, Sergeant. I congratulate you.
Yes. Yes. There's Mr. Brand asking for you downstairs, sir.
No, ask him to come up.
Would you ask him to come up, please?
Let's hope that that is the end of a very trying day. Dare I leave you in charge?
Is that Mr. Anthony Brand?
Your name?
Secretary of the Human Rights Organization, eminent QC, friend of the underdog.
He'd be flattered.
He's a dab hand at knocking the force, isn't he? What have we been up to now?
Oh, this is not a professional visit, purely friendly.
Friendly with the police. He accused us of running a new Gestapo the other week.
You know, I think it would broaden your mind, Sergeant, if you were to meet Mr. Brand.
Let me out! Please let me out! I can't stand being locked up. Let me out! I want to see my brother! I want to see my brother!
Don't leave him alone with the cutlery, mate. Oh, can I help you, sir? I have an appointment with Chief Inspector Rose. I seem to have lost my way.
Oh, yes, you have, sir. That's the way down to the cells. You don't want to go down there, do you? If you hang on a minute, I'll take you along to the Chief Inspector's office. Look, you go down, and when you've fed him, take the keys back to the charge room, will you? And mind he doesn't bite you. You might get rabies. It's this way, sir.
Thank you.
Anthony.
Am I too early?
Not for me. Sergeant Swift. Mr. Brown.
How do you do? How'd you do?
One of your admirers.
Oh, really? The Chief Inspector's joking.
Sergeant Swift thinks you've been a little harsh in some of your statements about the police force lately.
That Detective Constable Harrison. The one you call a sadist. Yes, I do remember. I always thought he was a pretty decent chap. Friend of yours? An old school chum, actually. We did our training together. If you'll excuse me. I think I'll go and have another go at Tulk's.
With Tulk, not at him.
With Tulk's.
Very well.
Mr. Brand? Sergeant Swift? Why do so many policemen have a chip on their shoulders?
Perhaps it's because of people like you, Anthony. We like to think of ourselves as a public service, and you keep insisting that we're a public menace.
Some policemen are. Not you, of course, Charles.
Thank you.
Who is Mr. Tulk?
Oh, just another friend of Sergeant Swift's.
Really, Charles, this civil service dreariness is not what I expect of your office.
Oh, well, I apologize. But I rather like to play in background when I'm working. I'm a square.
My dear Charles, if you're a square, then shapes have changed somewhat since I was a boy. Okay. It's all quiet now.
Yes?
Devil of a racket going on when I get up here first.
Tulk. Tulk. He's dead, Sergeant. He's been strangled. Anthony.
Kiss.
Huh?
Anthony,
Why?
tear yourself away from your newspaper for a moment and acknowledge your loving wife.
Again?
You weren't awake when you did it before.
Mm-hmm. You smell disgusting.
What of?
Scent.
It's very expensive.
No
You
one
gave it to me.
Well, no one should smell that expensive at this hour of the morning.
I dropped the bottle.
Again?
Aren't you going to open that letter?
No.
Oh. Can I borrow your car this morning?
No.
Why not?
I won't have you shopping in my status symbol.
Who's that letter from?
I won't know till I've opened it, will I? Come on.
Anything in the paper about that Tulk man?
No, only about the child.
Hushing it up.
This is one thing poor old Charles won't be able to hush up. I was there.
But what are you going to do about it?
Nothing. It's none of my business.
It's everybody's business. A man beaten to death in a police station?
Oh, please, darling, no moral indignation at this hour of the morning.
All right, I'm as calm as an undersexed barrister. Isn't the Human Rights Organization going to do something about it?
No. And don't say why not. There's nothing we can do about it unless someone personally involved comes to us and asks us to fight the case for them.
How feeble. Well, I'm going to do something about it. I'm going to write an article.
For the Ladies' Home Companion?
No. For one of the Sundays. And I shall start by interviewing that sergeant. What was he like?
Young, rather grim, takes himself very seriously. Monumental inferiority complex, I should think. Don't do anything too hasty, please, darling.
Why not?
Rose cried off our date last night. Said he could handle this thing himself.
So?
So I don't want to put his back up. Still owes me a drink.
Aren't you ever going to open that letter?
No.
Vallum. Who do you know in Vallum? It's from the garage.
You owe them £4, 12 shillings and 9 pence.
What a fraud you are. I thought you were keeping a mistress.
In Balham.
I shouldn't bother to take your coat off if I were you.
What's this, then?
I thought they'd put it very clearly.
They can't. I haven't done anything.
I'm afraid they can, and they have.
Well, what do I do?
Go home if I were you, and bolt the door.
I can't just sit around and do nothing.
Sergeant, you've not only been taken off this case, you've been suspended from duty pending an inquiry, and until that time you will do nothing, absolutely nothing.
Suspected of killing a prisoner in custody.
You'll survive.
You're enjoying this?
On the contrary, I find the whole business extremely distasteful.
I was never the right assistant for you. What you wanted was a bloody yes man. A little lapdog to run errands for you while you sat on your fat behind. Well, if it's any consolation, I'm sick of you too. I'm sick of being laughed at and made to feel inferior. I'm not even good enough to be your stooge, am I? I don't respond properly to your smug little jokes. I haven't got the education.
You have more than justified your promotion to sergeant. Don't spoil it, there's a good lad.
You've done a nice little bit of backstabbing, haven't you?
You're obviously suffering from a mild attack of persecution mania. I recommend a long walk.
And I can do without the psychoanalyzing.
I suggest you leave. Or I might lose my temper too, Swift.
You know nothing about me, do you? Nothing. You don't even know what my Christian name is, do you? And you're far too concerned with yourself to be bothered to find out.
Do stop shaking, Swift. You're giving me double vision.
Go to hell.
Your own brother. I should think you'd show more feeling.
He's dead. There's nothing I can do to help him now. Let it alone, can't you?
No. No, I can't. If you don't care what happens to your own brother, I do. You said it yourself, he's just like a child. He never harmed no one.
Well, what I said, but not you. No. He was in that rotten lunatic you until this happened.
Oh, I didn't mean it. I've had time to think about things now, and I tell you, I know what's right. Arthur, there's people who'll help us in a thing like this. Organisations, solicitors.
You'll only stir up a lot of trouble.
That's what you say. I know better. There's people who've had compensation. Now, Arthur, don't worry about it. I know what I'm doing. I know what's best.
What? What are you going to do?
Leave it to me, Albert. You leave it to me.
Do you mind if I sit down?
What's wrong with the other tables, then?
I don't like eating alone. I wonder why no one's ever invented an alcoholic ice cream. Too fattening, I suppose. Cigarette. I said, would you like a cigarette?
No. I wouldn't like a cigarette.
Do you mind if I do?
I don't mind if you drop down dead this minute.
Tough, aren't you? Hard-boiled. I bet you're lonely. I bet you go to the pictures a lot.
Look, what do you want? Why don't you go away and bother somebody else?
But I've only just arrived, and I've taken such a long time to find you.
Who are you?
A friend of Inspector Rose's. A friend in need.
May I have my coat, please?
When's the inquest, Sergeant Swift?
Are you from the press?
Up to a point, yes. Do sit down.
I suppose Rose sent you after me.
Don't be ridiculous.
What the hell do you want?
An interview.
Let me tell you something. I hate reporters. I hate them when they're all tired, overworked and shabby. And when they're young, sexy and all tarted up. I hate them even worse.
I'm not a reporter, actually. I'm a freelance journalist. I write articles for women's magazines and the Sunday papers. I bet you hate me even more now.
And you want an interview with me for the Ladies' Home Companion?
That's right. Sergeant Swift, my readers would like to know how it feels to strangle a helpless man to death.
Would they? Well, I'd be glad to tell you. There's nothing to it, nothing at all. It's just like... Look here. What relation is this woman, this Mrs. Tulk, to the dead man? Some Yorkshire
Well, she's married to Arthur Tulk, the poor fellow's brother.
No potatoes, I think. What's she after?
Justice. What else? Well done for me, please.
How much justice, Mr. Connor?
How much can people get these days?
The precise figure has slipped my mind for the moment. You are acting as her solicitor, Mr. O'Connor.
Potatoes and spinach. I am, Mr. Brand, I am.
Yes, well, the problem from the human rights point of view is this. We've just fought a very similar and successful case.
And you don't want to get typed, as it were.
We don't want to get the reputation of being exclusively concerned with prosecuting the police force.
On the other hand, you might say that you were personally involved in this matter yourself. I understand you were actually there when it happened. I'm not trying to pressure you, understand. But I'll tell you what. Since you're in this far already, will you see the woman?
I will, Mr. Connor. I will.
Good evening, Rose.
Hello, sir.
I understand you had a visitor here last night when Sergeant Swift dropped his little bomb.
Anthony Brand.
Yes, I've just had Mrs. Tulk's solicitor on the telephone. He's asked Brand for counsel's opinion, so we know what to expect.
A full-scale witch hunt by the Human Rights Organization.
Yes. I gather Swift was pretty worked up about this Tulk case.
No more than I was.
Is it true he has a violent temper?
We're all of us a little impulsive at times, sir.
Oh, really, Rose?
I don't think he killed that man. For all his minor faults, Swift is a very good policeman and he has a monumental conscience. I'd stake my reputation on him, so far as it goes.
I shouldn't do that if I were you. I'm sorry. I'm afraid you're probably in for a reprimand as it is. It's bad enough that a prisoner in your custody was... Well, the man's dead, isn't he? That's bad enough. But damn it, man, did you have to invite the secretary of the Human Rights Organization in to witness the incident?
Tulk.
Yeah.
I'm Detective Sergeant Swift.
You're a policeman?
Well, You don't know who I am?
Sergeant Swift. Oh, yes.
I didn't do it, Mr. Tulk. I didn't kill your brother.
It's all right.
You don't believe me, do you? But I didn't do it.
I'm afraid the place is in a mess. My wife's been out all day.
Something's burning.
It's just the boiler. It does that. It often does that.
About your brother.
Please, I don't want to talk about it.
I'm sorry about what happened.
No, I'm not blaming anyone.
I did question him. I suppose I could have done it. I could have, but I didn't.
I'm not blaming you, really, I'm not. Maybe it was an accident.
No, it wasn't an accident. It couldn't have been. He was strangled.
Don't.
Somebody killed him, and I'm going to find out who did it. I just want you to know that. Whatever your brother did...
Don't, please, I don't want to talk about it. I told you I just want to be left alone. Yes, I'm sorry, Sergeant. I'm sorry, yeah.
Sergeant, Mr. Brand, and the freelance journalist. Where did you pick her up, then? In a bar several years ago. She's my wife. I didn't realize you were acquainted with Sergeant Swift, darling. Mrs. Tulk.
Sergeant Swift? That's the one.
Yes, I'm the one.
You killed my brother-in-law. Now you've got the cheek to... What are you doing here?
I didn't kill your brother-in-law. I didn't kill anybody. Yet.
Such a charming young man.
Are we going, Mrs. Tulk?
Oh, yes. In here. Oh, I'll get my husband. He wasn't feeling too well this morning. It's all this upset over poor Harry. Arthur! Oh, there you are, dear. Some people are watching.
Ah, Mr. Tulk. Haven't we met someone before?
No. I told you to let it alone, you stupid bitch!
Mrs. Tulk, is he all right?
Oh, excuse me.
What did you do to him? Did you lay hands on him? Did you threaten him too?
Why? What's happened?
I sent a man out to see Arthur Tulk this morning, one of our more tactful personnel, to offer our sympathies and tender an olive branch. And I discovered that Arthur Tulk has disappeared.
Where?
That, unfortunately, we don't know. He left the house immediately after your visit and has not been back since.
Well, it was all right when I left.
Well, it's not all right now. That's all, Swift. And for your own sake, go home and stay there.
Can I say something, sir?
If you insist.
Arthur Tulk, well, he was sort of odd when I was out there. I mean, you'd expect him to hate me, but he didn't behave that way at all. He acted as though I was the one who'd been clobbered. He acted as though he was sorry for me. Well, I hardly talked to him. I was only there for a few minutes. We both just kept saying how sorry we were. He was all right when I left him. He was still in the house. A friend of yours called to see him after I did. Anthony Brand. No, I haven't got him hidden away anywhere.
But you did see him last night.
Yes, I did see him. What do you want him for, Charles?
We don't want him, but we'd be easier in our minds if we knew that he was within reach.
I frightened him. The minute he saw me, I hardly said 2 words to him, and he rushed up the stairs.
What do you mean he recognized you? That you'd met before?
Yes, I'm sure we have. I'll tell you the truth, Charles, I can't for the life of me remember where.
Well, thank you, Anthony. You've been very cooperative.
I'm bound to cooperate with you. You still owe me a drink.
You're very friendly with the police, Mr. Brand.
Oh, Inspector Rose and I are old enemies.
Well, sometimes that's better than being friends. Look how the Irish get along with the English today.
I'm worried about your client, Mr. O'Connor. Arthur Tulk has disappeared. And it seems that we were the last people to see him.
Sir, Sergeant Swift is the only one to see Tulk alone in his cell, sir. Except the constable from the canteen, of course, sir.
Constable from the canteen?
Yes, sir. Took him his supper about 8 o'clock, sir.
Did you accompany him?
Oh, no, sir. No, I came with him as far as the cell block door, as a matter of fact, sir. But there was a gentleman looking for you, sir. So I showed him along to your office.
Yes, I remember. Mr. Brand. This constable from the canteen, what's his name?
Afraid I don't remember him, sir. There's so many men doing our duty at the canteen these days, sir.
What does he look like? Describe him to me.
Oh, he was about 40, 45. Quite pleasant looking, brown eyes.
Go on.
That's about all, sir.
That's not much, is it, Constable?
Well, there was one thing I noticed about him, sir. He had a peculiar smell. He had a strong smell of mothballs, sir.
Mothballs?
Yes, sir.
Mothballs.
Turn everything out all over the floor. Just look at the mess you've left the place in. Well, you just have to come back afterwards, that's all, and clean it all up. What are you looking for anyway?
Better ask the inspector, Mum.
You've no right to handle people's private property like this.
Constable Kern has shown you our search warrant, madam.
Nothing there, sir.
Then we'd better try the front room. Start with the ottoman.
The what? Where's the key?
Oh, find it yourself.
Now, you don't want me to break it open, do you? It's up to you, Mum.
It's in that bowl over there.
Thanks.
But you've got no right.
Indeed we have, madam. Just as you have every right to apply for compensation for any damage caused by the police in the execution of their duty.
Here, you be careful with those. They cost a lot of money, those did. My husband sets great store by them.
An interesting array of disguises.
They're my husband's stage clothes. He used to be on the walls.
Don't bring any more out.
Satisfied?
More than satisfied, thank you. We found what we came for. 1 mothball, 1 photograph. Put out a general call for Arthur Tulk, 40 to 45. You can take his description from this photograph. He's the one in the policeman's uniform.
Yes, sir.
He's to be detained on sight.
What for? What's he done?
We have every reason to believe that he can help us in our inquiries into the murder of his brother, Harold John Tulk.
Over here. You bring the food?
Why are they after you, Arthur? They got one of them police calls out for you.
Is it in the papers?
I heard them giving the orders.
Who?
That inspector. They came and searched the house. What are they looking for, Arthur? They took a photograph of you away with them.
Which? An old one?
Donkey's years old. That one you had took in Margate, in that policeman's uniform which you used to wear in the act. What did you do with that uniform, Arthur? It wasn't in the trunk.
It's your fault, all of it! They've never done all except for you! Bringing that lawyer home! I told you 100 times, let it alone!
Well, what's he got to do with it?
He saw me. He was there. I ran into him on the way to the cells.
You was the one. In that policeman's uniform. You killed Harold.
I had to, didn't I? He couldn't stand being locked up. All his life he was like that. I kept thinking of him all alone in that cell, screaming, begging them to let him out.
Why didn't you tell me, Arthur?
You always said he ought to be put out of the way after what happened to that kid in Shanklin. We both knew it was Harold. You always said it would be a kindness if it was done in.
Oh, it was a mercy killing, Arthur. That's what it was. It was a mercy killing, Arthur. Of course it was. Shoo, there. It was a mercy killing. Arthur, what are we going to do now? That's what I'm thinking. What are we going to do now?
Well, I can stay here until night.
If you was to give yourself up, it being a mercy killing...
No!
Well, what then?
I'm going to get away.
How?
That's where I'm lucky, being on the stage all those years. Play pair of them steel glasses. Wouldn't pass by daylight, but it'd be dark outside soon.
Your old make-up kit, Arthur. Your old make-up kit.
That's right. But you'll have to be careful. They'll be watching you now. You'll have to get it to me here without being followed.
You leave it to me, Arthur. Leave it to me.
Hello. Who are you?
Hello. Are you hiding here?
What's your name? I've got something for you if you tell me your name.
Sally.
Sally. Go on, take it. Don't be frightened. I'm not going to hurt you. I like little girls.
Constable! Hello, Sergeant. God, you're trying to find a policeman in this neighborhood. Come with me and find the man who killed that kid in Castle Street.
Have you?
Well, what's wrong with you?
They've already got that chap. You should know that, Sergeant, better than anybody.
Come on, Sally.
You said you'd give it to me.
Yes, but you've got to come and take it from me, Sally. You've got to come and get it.
Right. Is it a game?
Yes, that's right, Sally. It's a game.
Listen, I'm not a sergeant. I'm not in the police force. Do you understand that? I'm just talking to you now as an ordinary citizen. A man's broken into an empty house and he's hiding. He's in the basement.
I see, and the man has no business on the premises.
No.
And you know his name?
Yes, his name's Arthur Tulk.
Arthur Tulk. For God's sake, why didn't you say so? There's a call out for him. If every private citizen took his duty as seriously as you, spying on his fellow citizens, following them through the streets as you followed Mrs. Tulk, to be the death of democracy in this country, Swift.
I suppose so, sir. But there'd be a lot less crime.
A lot less crime. And what would happen to the police force? We should all lose our jobs. However, you are no longer a private citizen, thank heavens. Have you nothing to say?
Shall I go on working for you, sir?
Would you prefer not to?
It's an education, I suppose. If it hadn't been for you, I might never have realized that Harold Tulk, well, that he wouldn't have killed that little girl.
Thanks to me.
Something you said. One of your little French jokes.
Everyone gets his kicks in his own way, Sergeant, is that it?
Something like that.
Then I take it that you will continue to be my assistant.
I don't mind, sir. It could be worse, I suppose. Chacun a son goût.
Then you better take off your overcoat and start catching up on your work. Crime marches on, Swift, even in your absence.
I believe I did ask for a dry martini. There's enough vermouth in this thing to float the Italian Navy.
I see you've already started to drown your disappointment. Dry sherry.
I don't like gloaters, Charles.
I like that little article in the morning paper this morning, withdrawing all accusations against the police force. It was as if you and human rights were bestowing an eternal absolution.
I shall only ask you to eat with me. If you drop the whole matter, you're becoming a bore.
How is Mrs. Brand?
Wholly delightful.
You know, I'm afraid my sergeant wasn't exactly bowled over by her.
Wasn't exactly bowled over by him. Nor me.
What shall we drink to?
Toast?
Something that we do agree on.
Freedom?
No, too vague.
The law?
Too ambiguous. How about one of the virtues?
Perseverance?
Charity?
Charity.